Shop talk, shy it, shutty up, shy it, die, that up, shop tie, shutty up, shop talk.
Chip off the block.
Gotta say to yourself, hey, you can make it. No matter what comes your way, hey, you can make it. Keep your head up to the sky, hey, you can make it. Can't lose what got on your side, hey, you can make it. You've been going through a storm, and you feel like you can take no more. Wanna give up, you can't go on. Faith is weak, all hope is gone. Well, I'm here to encourage you. Don't stop, you just go through. Tests and trials come to make you strong. You'll bring it on, it won't be long. So you say to yourself, hey, you can make it. I know you can. Hey, you can make it. It really doesn't matter. The sky, hey, you can make it. Can't lose what got on your side. Hey, you can make it. Speak over your life. Say to yourself, hey, you can make it. Sometimes you gotta encourage yourself.
What is going on, y'all? It is your man right there. Yes, what is going on, y'all? It is another day's journey, and I am super duper glad about it. My name is Demetrius Tollfree, and I am here to welcome you to Shop Talk, everyone's favorite show right here on everyone's favorite network. You know what it is, children. It is freedomradio.com. And for the next however long we're going to be here, we're going to do what we do to get the rest of your week going. Want to welcome all of our viewers from both Facebook as well as those watching us on YouTube, as well as those who might be listening or streaming us on freedomradio.com or in the Freedom Radio app. Whomsoever you might be, however you might be joining us or tuning in, we want to say welcome to today's show. It's going to be an absolutely amazing time together. Now, before we do anything, before I bring up co-hosts, before we jump into the show and all of those great things, you know what you got to do. You got to do me a favor. You got to get on the phone. You got to call, text, tweet, Facebook, MySpace, Instagram, Social Cam, Periscope, Marco Polo. But you know what you got to do? I always laugh because Cambria starts getting on my case. You know what you got to do? You got to call, tell your mama and them, Ray Ray, Shay Shay, Day Day, Delicious them, Nuck Nuck them, Pojo them. Let them all know that we are live right here on freedomradio.com as well as on Facebook and YouTube. We have an amazing show lined up for you. Got a lot of things to make happen. It is all to the good. Now, before we do anything, I just want to remind you really quick that my name is Demetrius Tollfree. It says so literally right there, as well as you can check me out on social media at DTollfree, at DTOLEFREE. That's on Facebook. That's on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, if you use it, as well as if you just need to test. If you're new to digital currency and you want to test if you can send $1,000 on Venmo or Cash App, it's all good. I'm the person to help you out. On Venmo, same thing, at DTollfree. You can send me that $1,000. I'll let you know if I got it. As well as on Cash App is $, DTollfree. Send me that $1,000 and let me know if you can test it out. Or if you don't want to send 1,000, send 5. It's all good. 5,000 will do just fine. And I'll let you know that I got it. And if you need me to send it back to you, do not worry. I will. I'll send it back to you day by day in $100 increments. Amen. Praise the Lord. Anyway, let's get ready to bring up my first co-host out in El Sobrante of California. She's on borrowed time to a degree, as well as, I don't know, she might even have red eyes. I'm not sure. We'll find out in a moment. But let's bring up my homegirl and yours, the incredibly talented, the world traveled, and the all-around funny girl, Ashlyn Tara Cole. Ashlyn, yes, I did call you a girl because you're a couple of days younger than me. But what's going on, sisterin?
Couple days. Hold on. Give me my just due now. Didn't you just turn 50? Hold on.
Okay, you're going there this morning? You're going there?
Huh?
Okay.
I have a couple years.
Couple days.
In fact,
Anyway,
3.
when you get to a certain age, I mean, you know, and it's like a year or two apart from you guys,
No.
the same age.
Keep telling yourself that, Dito.
Okay.
Keep telling yourself that.
It's
No.
all good.
No. When I celebrate 50, it's gonna be a big deal. It's gonna be a big deal. You gonna know, but you gonna be there, as a matter of fact.
Awesome.
Yeah, we gonna be by that time. See, 50 is so far in the future. To me, we will be out of COVID. So I know that we'll be able to have a party. We're gonna have a party, have a good old time.
It's all good. I'll keep that in mind.
But yeah, I am happy to be here. It didn't occur to me that today was Wednesday. It's because I'm on a new work schedule. Amen. And here's the irony. So I started at a small, just a small delivery company, real small, worldwide. Not just in Silicon Valley, like your job, but a small worldwide company.
Yeah.
I started yesterday, and the shift in my life, but a shift when my work starts is 3:30 a.m., y'all. My shift starts at 3:30, which means I got to get up at 2. I leave my house at like 10 after 3. Praise God, I'm like 8-9 minutes from the job. But it's been interesting. Yesterday, I was done at 9. I got to work at 3:25. I was done at 9:05, 9:15, something like that. I cussed myself out a whole walk to back to the car. I did. Because I thought I had lost my mind. I was like, "Why would you take this job? Like, why?" I pulled out my calculator. I was like, "How much money did I just make?" I was like, "Is it worth it? Was it worth the labor that I put in? Was it worth the money? Is you sure there's not another way that I could?" But here's the thing. I really asked God for I wanted a change. I really needed a change in pace. And I felt like I was getting complacent in my life. And complacent it's not necessarily a bad thing. Complacent is really like you're content with the way that things are in your life, right? But it means that you're not striving for nothing else. You're not trying to, get ahead or fall, but you're just kind of stuck still. And I was like, God, I need a change in pace. And lo and behold, this job fair came up, and I was offered 3 jobs by the second day. And
Wow.
so I took all 3 of them. Dito, I took all 3 of them. One I withdrew. One I started yesterday, and the third one I do have an interview today. Which is why I'm sort of on borrowed time. At the end of the top of the hour, I do have an interview. So I'm like, I'm embracing this season. This season is like, I don't want to ever be, I don't ever want to not be humble. Does that make sense? I never want to be, up here somewhere because this is not who I am and it's not who I represent. Right. I just always want to be humble. And so, ironically, 3 months ago, I haven't even mentioned this to anybody because I thought nobody would believe me, but I'd quit drinking coffee, he told. I know Dee Felder is gonna be like, "What?"
No more
Yeah,
peace.
I did. I quit drinking coffee, and so getting up at 3 in the morning, I'm not drinking any coffee. I'm drinking my good strong water
Hmm.
and, have my little banana or my shake or whatever, and I'm keeping it moving. So I don't really eat breakfast till I get home, which I just got home, and here we are, lo and behold, on Shop Talk. So I'm gonna say hold my breakfast. I'm gonna hold my mule
That's
till
fun.
after the show.
Well, it's
Yeah.
all good. I'm glad that you were able to make it. Congrats on this particular new job, and I'm praying with you on the new interview that you're going to be having in a few moments. And so we pray that the Lord would open up that window of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you won't have room enough to receive. And I know that He can do it because He's done it for others, and He's no respecter of person. And
Come
what He
on.
does for others, I know because you're one of His
Come
favorites.
on.
He'll
You
do it.
know what's funny, Dito? Here's what's so funny. I try to be like, I say in Caucasian. I try to be like in Caucasian, right? And so, incognito for the people in the back. But lo and behold, today I had on a baseball cap. I had on a full mask. I walked in and the lady said, "Wasn't you on Sunday Best?" I said, "How? How do people recognize me? I didn't even have my hair out of nothing." So, it's
It happens.
it's good. It's good.
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. It's all good. I tell you what, before we bring up our next co-host who is hanging out in the backyard, before we do that, let me give some early morning shout outs to some people hanging out with us. Shout out to Tracy J. Wilson. What up, Tracy? Glad to have you hanging out with us. Cambria Mayfield, as always, hanging out with us on YouTube, as well as you can too. So if Facebook is not your thing, you can always catch us on YouTube as well. Shout out to Mrs. Kennedy. Renee, what is going on? Happy to have her hanging out with us. What kind of show would we have without Dee Felder? She also is in the virtual building. Shout out to my homie Diamond Fee. Diamond Fee, what is going on, sister? And I have something I want to put on the screen a little bit later, if time permits, that I got from Diamond Fee that had me cracking the heck up. Anyway, shout out to my guy, Andrew Brian Caldwell, who I did not know was a musician and played keys. Andrew, can I get some lessons? What can you show me? A flat is one of my keys, but I can do C sharp too. What can you show me, man? Help me enhance the little bit that I do. So shout out to Andrew. Shout out to my homegirl as well, Kirsten Williams, in the virtual building, hanging out as well as Dee Felder says in response to you that Pete's is already in her veins. She's already had her peaks for today, and it's all good. All right, y'all, we're getting ready to bring up our next co-host, but before we do, one last thing I want to do. That is, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, our headphone sponsor, Me Audio, MEE Audio. For those of you who may be needing some in-ear headphones or anything like that, they come in all colors. You can even get custom molds if you like as
Yes.
well. I have some as I play with a certain pair. But Me Audio, they are our headphone sponsor, and I talked with them last week via email just before Ashton reached out. I was like, Ashton must really have the Holy Ghost. Anyway, I reached out to Me Audio to talk about our other co-hosts that need some headphones, and they gave me some info on what to do. So we will be getting some new Me Audio headphones to our other co-hosts, Ja'Cory and Yolanda. We will be doing that in the very, very near future on Freedom.
Big one.
Right?
I want the
It's on
big one.
What?
The big headphone.
You
Like,
getting big old headphones?
we not getting big old headphones?
No, we getting more in ears. So Ja'Cory and Yolanda will get
Oh.
in ears just like you and I have. So it's all to the good. And Freedom Radio definitely going to sponsor that, and look out for our radio hosts on that. Anyway, speaking of co-hosts, in the backyard out in Hercules of California, my guy and yours, incredible singer, absolutely talented. I got a chance to sit down with he and Ashlyn last week as we kicked up our feet. Thank you, Lord Jesus. And was able to take in some great food. And he made me some incredible bracelets that I've already worn and gotten some compliments from. Let's bring him up. My guy, Ashlyn, your guy as well. Ja'Cory Proto in the virtual building. Ja'Cory.
Hey, I miss you. How are we like neighbors? How are we like one exit away from each other and I have not seen you? I have not laid eyes on
Ashlyn,
you.
Ashlyn Cole is busier than Vicky Winans. That's what the problem is. She's like gone with the wind. How's everybody doing?
Man, all is well. I see you still hanging out in your work area, putting things together, making things happen. Let me ask you, now I know you do jewelry and all that kind of stuff, and bracelets. Of course, I've got some. I don't have them on today. I should. But are you a stylist as well?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, somebody put my secret out, huh? Yeah, I have a couple of clients year long. I do, I take calls. So hit me in my DMs. But let me say this. When you hit me, you have got to be ready to try new things. I do not like customers that are stuck. In this season, we are releasing our feet from being stuck. So you got to be willing to try things.
That's so good. That's so good. In fact, I just posted on Instagram yesterday the Christmas single that I did last year, which a lot of people didn't know existed. But it's a beautiful video and the beautiful stylings of Ja'Cory Proto. He absolutely styled me for that single cover. And when I tell you, when he says step outside your comfort zone, that is not something, that's not a look. You know me, I'm super casual, right?
She was looking like Erica Kane from our Dynasty.
Right.
She was done up.
Right. I'm super casual.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, we're gonna take it up a notch, and he really did. So yeah, Ja'Cory is definitely somebody to call. And what's cool is he can take you to the stores and to elevate. You might not even know about like where to go in the store, where to go in the mall, what stores to go that's gonna fit your body, your skin tone, your hair color, all of that stuff. He thinks about all of that. So yes. Definitely call Ja'Cory. Hit him up for some
Hit
styling.
me in my DMs. Let me upgrade you.
That's all good. So now, what's the new Instagram? Because I know I've been posting the old one. Is it still Ja'Cory Proto, or what is it now?
Oh, I went back and reclaimed my first name. I only got 200 friends, but you know what? At the end of the day, I think it was a lesson for me too, because you can get caught up with clicks, how many friends you got, and at the end of the day, is that all about Jesus? No, it's not. So I'm not even worried about it anymore.
Okay.
I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I know that's, when it comes to music and business, that's what they're looking at. But at the end of the day, if my pond is just a little pond over here, long as I'm feeding my pond, we good.
Yeah, come on.
I'm not mad at you. That's good stuff. And as you can see, Ashlyn and Ja'Cory, Renee Kennedy chimes in and she says that cover was everything.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Most definitely. Good stuff. Shout out to Gay Harris. What's up? Gay, my neighbor, as well as a constituent from my church. Happy to have her hanging out with us, as well as my dude, Pastor Took Mallinson. Tooketh. Doc. Dr. Rock, what is going on? Glad to have him hanging out as well. Listen, we got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things that are on the table. But before we do, I want to take a quick 1 minute commercial break and make some things happen. Last week, we just, on the spur of the moment, as we always do, talked about different items. As you can see today, I am donning my Freedom Radio hoodie in the color of navy.
Yes. Oh,
As
it's good.
Under it, I am donning my silver or my gray Freedom Radio t-shirt because of my lighting and stuff like that. The colors, you can't see everything. But I tell you what, I got a better way to explain this whole thing. And maybe, just maybe, you may want to partake of some of the things that we have available. Things like this. Take a look at this. Hey everyone, this is Demetrius Tollfree from your favorite radio show, Shop Talk, where literally no person or subject is off limits, with some great information that you want to hear. As you know, the season is starting to change from summer to fall and winter, and we don't want you to be left out in the cold. With that said, this is a perfect time for you to get your freedom gear. We have hoodies in an array of sizes and colors, both pullover and zip up. And we recently introduced some FDR beanies that will keep your head warm as well. As an added bonus, we have added some other great items in our store, such as AirPod cases, iPhone cases, masks, wireless chargers, hats, water bottles and mugs, and of course, t-shirts. Simply go to freedomradio.com/shop or open up the Freedom Radio app on your Apple or Android device and click the FDR gear icon. Thank you so much for your continued support, and we know that freedom looks good on you.
Dito, that commercial is everything. That is everything, Dito. That was really well done. And I love that slogan at the end. Freedom looks good on you. I wonder who came up with that one.
Yeah,
Who was that playing?
That was
That's
Marcus
Marcus.
Phillips.
Yeah, glory
Yeah,
to the
January
name.
basis extraordinaire. Marcus Phillips allowed us to use his music on that particular commercial. And again, as I tried to highlight in the commercial, we have a ton of things on the Freedom Radio website that you can get: AirPod cases, phone cases, masks, wireless chargers. As a matter of fact, Dee Dee Felder has a wireless charger that no one else has. She won our Get Fly in July campaign, and she picked that particular item. She's the only person that has it so far. But tons of things on there: skull caps now, beanies as they're called, so much stuff. At your convenience, take some time and do that. I see you, Diamond Fee. She says that she's going to have to order a hoodie. She says she's got 2 shirts a couple of months ago. And for that, we say thank you, Diamond Fee. We appreciate all of your love and support, as well as all of the rest of you. And I see my homegirl out in Stockton, California. For reasons beyond me, I won't say what Stockton really means, but Stockton is a city in California in the valley. My homegirl Sidria is from Stockton, and she's hanging out with us. Glad to have you hanging out with us as well. All right, y'all. Got a few things we're going to talk about. If I got time to come back to birthdays, I'll try to get back to that. But there's a lot of things happening in the region of news, and we're getting ready to bring up our next co-host as well, out in the North Kakalaki. She's hanging out in the backyard right now, but all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina. Somebody I know just moved. Oh, Dayana. Didn't Dayana move there? Dayana Reddick?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've got to put Dayana and Yolanda together because that sounds like a great meeting to happen. Anyway, my homegirl and yours, originally from Denver, has now matriculated. I've always wanted to use that word. Has now matriculated from Denver to Charlotte, North Carolina, on alone for now, because I think that's not her final destination. But she'll tell us about that whenever she gets ready to tell us. Let's bring up my homegirl and yours, graphic designer, singer, entrepreneur, all-around smart person, thanks to her mama and her daddy, Yolanda Wild Praise Morant. Yolanda, what is going on? Welcome to the show. Good afternoon.
Hey, y'all.
You?
How y'all doing?
Everything
I'm
is
good.
good.
Everybody
Now,
good in the hood?
Everybody's good now. At the present moment, in your new words, I'm not going to CNN you yet, but it is coming. But welcome to the show. How you doing?
An indie yet? What is that?
I said I'm not going
CNN you?
to CNN you.
Oh yeah, don't say it. Oh
Not,
yeah,
not
what's up?
yet.
Yo
Right?
yo, what's happening?
All is well. All is well. Now you came in at a good time because we're just getting ready to get into one of our subjects of the day. And one of our subjects of the day has had an effect on all of us in one way or the other. And that is we're still in this season called COVID. We're
Yeah.
still dealing with COVID, and it's actually getting more serious. Obviously, people are the big thing is about the whole are you vaccinated or not? And this whole thing is getting crazy. I mean, obviously, I've been vaccinated. I got vaccinated earlier this year, and I know for a fact that Ashley, you're vaccinated, right?
Oh yes.
Yolanda, you vaccinated? Yeah. Okay. Jacory,
Absolutely.
did you make the step? You vaccinated? Yeah. He said,
Yeah.
okay.
We
Cool.
me Jacory and I both like I think I got vaccinated back in February. And
I think
I was like part of the first wave of people
Yeah.
that got vaccinated because we were, we're considered frontline workers. So they offered us the vaccine early on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's getting crazy because now people are starting to get ready to mandate that you be vaccinated. I went to San Francisco a couple of weeks ago to go eat at a restaurant, something I always love to do. I went to get some crab and some garlic noodles. Jesus, thank you for your touch. And when we got there, the first thing they asked us was, okay, do you have your vaccination card?
Mhm.
And if you don't have it, no worries. You'll have to sit outside. We'll still serve you and treat you nice and everything, but you'll have to get cozy outside. So at the present moment, I didn't have it. I had it, but it was way in the car, which was it took me forever to try to find a park. So I wasn't going to go running back to the car, but I was able to download a version of my vaccination card and was able to scan it with a QR code, and that was sufficient. But restaurants now are starting to check and ask for vaccination, but in order for you to sit inside, jobs are now asking for it before you start coming back to work. And now even the NBA has gotten real serious. Many of you probably are keeping up or have heard that Kyrie Irving of the Brooklyn Nets, who is not vaccinated, he will not be able to participate in practices or play in the season until he has gotten vaccinated. We had the same thing happen with the Warriors. Andrew Wiggins, he finally got his first dose a couple of weeks ago. He tried to come up with I can't get it for religious purposes. They was like, dude, we know you. You don't even go to church. And so he finally had to break down and get it. But it's getting serious and more serious. As a matter of fact, last night, Yolanda and Jacory, in the city of Sacramento here in California, the school board has now mandated that come second semester of the school year that every child has to be vaccinated if they're going to do in-person learning. Now, of course, they can still do virtual learning if they choose, but all the classes aren't able to be offered virtually. So, and then the teachers have to be all vaccinated by the end of November. So things are starting to change. I definitely want to get you all's opinion on this. This vaccination has really, really gotten important. Again, I have it. All of us have it. Nobody had to pull my arm per se. Allegra was like, okay, if you're going to still live here, okay, well, it's okay. I want to live here. So, I mean, but y'all chime in. Tell me what you're thinking about this thing. It's getting very, very serious. People's jobs is on the line and all those kind of things. So tell me what you think. I'll start with you, Ashton. What do you think about this whole vaccination and the ways that people are going about it?
I mean, it's interesting to me because I think that we forget or we don't really think about, when polio vaccines came out or when, like as kids, when I was a kid, you couldn't start school until you got your your vaccinations. I mean, like, so vaccines are not like a foreign, it's not a foreign idea. This is not new. This was like, okay, because COVID's not even new. Okay. Y'all need to understand COVID is not new. It's not COVID-1, right? We on COVID-19, right? Okay. So COVID has been around. Coronavirus has been around. This is just one strain or one thread of coronavirus. So it's not a new concept. So I'm not really sure why people are making such a huge deal of it. I mean, like, we see the side effects of COVID, and we've seen very few side effects from the vaccine. And so I don't, me personally, I didn't want to get vaccinated. I definitely need to say that. I'm not trying to, make it seem like it was such an easy decision for me. I mean, Jacory and I had many conversations. We did a whole show about vaccine or not, And so it was a struggle for me to wrap my mind around it because I kind of, I fed into all the rumors and, all the propaganda. It's politicized and all that stuff. I bought into all that stuff.
Yeah.
And and so getting vaccinated to me was not a big deal. Yeah, I had a couple days where I was in bed sick from the second dose and it was fine. And then I woke up and I felt like Wolverine. I was like, I'm infused with the juice, the go-go juice. And and even after getting vaccinated, I got COVID. I had COVID and I survived. Praise God. You know what I mean? So I feel like, yes, I pled the blood. I'm covered in the blood. I'm covered by the vaccine too. So I felt good about that. Now I do need to tell you that because of all this whole wave of mandates that people are actually starting to create fake vaccine cards. And in fact, there was a woman that just was arrested in New York, I believe is in New York, for processing 21 fake COVID vaccine cards. Just yesterday, someone in Mount Vernon has been arraigned for allegedly processing fraudulent COVID-19 vaccine record cards. And so this is actually a thing. I've heard people say, hey, where can I get a card? I'm like, what
Yeah.
kind of foolishness is this?
Yeah, it's like that. It's crazy that people are going to these great extents to not get the card. I mean, to not get vaccinated, but yet they want the card. They want the privileges, what they're not, willing to take. I get it. I hear it. I hear both sides of the coin. Want to give a quick shout out before we keep going to Olivia Williams. What's going on, Olivia? Glad to have her hanging out. She says she's late, but she's here in support. Thank you for hanging out with us. Shout out to Ty McClain, another great friend of mine out in the valley, not far from me. She's saying what's up, and she says she agrees with what you're saying, Ashlyn. Absolutely. And then Dee Dee Felder says that mandates are very scary. And she says, well, what's next? So I'm with you. I hear you, Dee Dee. I'm with you. The mandate can be somewhat scary. But again, first of all, let me ask those of you who are listening or watching, and this is not to put you on the spot or to question you or anything like that. I just want to know if you're vaccinated or not. Just if you're vaccinated, just put yes in there. If you're not, just put no. I'm not gonna form opinion toward you either way.
Right.
I just want to know who I'm talking to, who's hanging out with us. And yep, I see you, Ty.
I mean, taxes are mandated.
Absolutely.
Taxes are mandated, and you go to jail if you don't pay your taxes. So
Absolutely.
I don't think it's the same.
Well, it may not be the same in that, but let's go a different direction. All of us had to go through grade school, and in going through grade school, before you could even go, you had to be vaccinated, whether it was for polio, whether it was for chicken pox, all these different things. You still had to show a sign, you had to show vaccination or proof of vaccination before you could even go to school in kindergarten, first grade. Now, I don't know if it's to that degree, but we still had to show some sort of vaccination proof in order to go to school and stuff like that. So this is not the first time we've had to go through a vaccination. Now, this is a little bit quicker, and I know a lot of people are nervous or scared, saying that we don't know what's in the shot. I understand it. I get it. But we don't know. Those of you who have diabetes, you don't really know what's in that shot. Those of you who are taking other medicines and all that kind of stuff, you really don't know what all is in it. And you come across side effects, all these different type of things. Now, me personally, I'm not either, I'm not an advocate for the shot or against it. I'm just telling you, as we're doing our thinking about it, we've had to do other things that we wasn't sure of what was in the ingredients of the thing. So, Yolanda, I know you want to say something. Go right ahead, and Jacory will come to you.
I think we are very insensitive people. And I think we have forgotten that thousands upon thousands of people have died that we know of. Think about the bum on the street who wasn't counted, that died. Somebody in some corner that probably passed away that we didn't know anything about. I am not, and I want to be, we're insensitive. And so I think we have forgotten the mental toll it has taken on people, how people are still dealing. One of my clients mentioned to me how someone he knew lost 6 family members due to COVID. I don't know if we understand how frightening it really is. Now, I want to be clear. I am vaccinated. My parents who are in the medical field have been all my life highly encouraged that I get vaccinated. I travel. I've been traveling. I'm grateful to do so. Glad I can. Glad that God has protected me. I've been on the road almost every week. I'll be on the road again this weekend. I think that, you may not be able to get around being vaccinated if you plan to travel. If you're an artist, if you're a business person, I just think there's some things you can't get around. I just think we're a little insensitive with it, though. I think some people push it in a way that they, it can come off a little insensitive, but I also think we're unwise with the platforms we've been given. I ain't scared of nobody. And I've seen Tank post several times about, you can't force us and you can't make us. Well, why not use your platform to educate us? You may not be an A-list, R&B artist, but you do have a lot of pull. Why not pull in a scientist and somebody to sit down and say, this is what it means and this is what it doesn't? All I'm saying is do your research before you cast somebody out. There may be certain instances where you're probably going to have to get vaccinated. So I do agree with Ashton. There are certain things when you travel to certain countries. I've never had to be vaccinated to go to Japan. It's not required. Or when I've been to Europe, but certain parts of Africa, you do have to take a shot in order to go.
Absolutely.
And if you want to go, you have to take the shot. Therefore, it hasn't been offered yet. But there was times I was like, nah, I'm good. Because I heard the shot was kind of painful. I heard, that there was a little irritation for a little while. So all I'm saying is be sensitive, but don't bash people who do and don't bash people who don't.
Absolutely.
But there are certain things. Now the other part is I think people, and then I'll, let you. I think the other reason why people are scared is because COVID came like this. And then they had a vaccination like this. Okay. And so people were having side effects. I did not. Now, I'm not telling you God is more good to me than he is to you. All I'm going to do is tell you that I did not want to be vaccinated. My parents heavily encouraged I be vaccinated. I have pastor clients that said, you need to get vaccinated. You will be fine. And I never disrespect my mother, but I said, Mom, I feel, she said, put some oil on your head and go get in line.
Come on.
If you want to travel, you need to be vaccinated. And so I'm just saying we have to use wisdom. That's all come off a little hard today. I'm not like, my first lady mode today. But I'm just saying sometimes we got to use a little bit of wisdom. Don't bash people, but get your own information.
Right.
Like somebody commented, I can't be vaccinated because they have medical issues. Okay, so let's not tear that person up. We don't know. That's all I'm saying. Because I think we kind of come off hard, and I think everybody's scared right now, and I think that's what we're being insensitive to. People are you gotta be at church. Jesus ain't gonna be with you. Jesus is with you everywhere you go.
Come on.
So let's be a little, just me. I'm just saying, let's be a little more sensitive. There's a lot happening. We've lost several gospel artists in the last several weeks. There's a lot going on. Let's just be a little bit more, because somebody might be scared and they don't have the knowledge that you may have. I know Google's for everyone, but somebody may not know even where to look to understand what is it going to do? How is it going to affect me? I know somebody right now, older, she's terrified to be vaccinated. So that's all I'm saying. I'm vaccinated, but it ain't for everybody.
I'm with you. I mentioned it, and again, I'm not an advocate for either or. I'm not going to bash you if you don't have it. I saw Olivia Williams mention that she doesn't have it. Hey, that's her decision. But I buried 2 family members Sunday, both of whom, a mother and a son, my aunt and my first cousin. were not vaccinated. Both of them succumbed to
Oh,
COVID.
I'm so sorry.
And so I just buried them Sunday. And so for me, it's starting to hit a little closer to home. It's one thing when you see stuff on the TV and it's affecting people around the country and all this type of stuff, but it's a different thing when it starts affecting the people that you know, people that you grew up around, people that you were around. Again, they were not vaccinated. They caught COVID or got COVID. I hate to use the word caught, but they got COVID, and neither one of them was vaccinated, and they weren't able to recover. And now they're gone. My cousin, he may have been 60, maybe. He might have been in his 60s. And my aunt, of course, was a lot older and was unable to fight it off. And here we are, burying two loved ones. So, if they had the vaccination, would they have survived? I don't know. We don't know. And I'm no doctor, and Lord knows I'm not God, so I don't know. But in many cases, people have been able to fight it off a little better because of the mere fact that they have the vaccination. That's my opinion. That's my thought. Ja'Cory, man, wanted to have you chime in.
Ja'Cory, can I say this before I forget? Because I know Ja'Cory has a different angle. I do want to say this one thing. My dad gave me some really good information. He said it's not going to stop you from getting COVID. Now, this is from a medical professional that's in the medical field. Well, I'm 42. Well in the medical field 40 years. He said it's not going to stop you from getting COVID. However, it will prevent what COVID may do. It may prevent you from being on a ventilator. It may prevent these things and these things. And he said something I had never thought about. He said people don't understand this. If you've been on a ventilator, you have to learn how to do everything again. You have to learn how to breathe again. Your brain has to learn how to do certain things again. You may have to learn how to walk again. So while I'm sensitive, and I remember what I said, I am saying, though, don't fight against the system just because you don't like it. Find out the information for yourself so you can make a decision for yourself. But just to say, I don't want to get it because the government's after you, like let's just make some wise choices. But I'm saying from a medical professional, that was what he shared with me.
Yeah.
Ja'Cory.
Well, oh, excuse me. The funny thing is, we're talking about this, and I'm actually finishing my father's obituary. So we're talking about COVID, and I'm talking about the man, the music, the legend, James Prothero, my father. And I've been in the hospital and seen the doctors working with the space suits. I've been behind the walls. I've seen the death face of COVID. When I went and I had to call the paramedics for my father as he sat there, and he didn't look like my father. So I think for some, it's a whole different magnitude. Because I was wearing my mask, and yes, I got vaccinated. And I do feel in the spirit and God that I know that if my father had the vaccination, it would have went another way. And I stand on that very firmly. But it's just a trip because we've been in this COVID season for a while, and we're yet having the right conversations. So I get a little ticked with it because the thing is, okay, what's really going on? What you talking about with your family? Are y'all having real conversations, or are we still in the same place that we were before? I felt as though this situation that we've been in for it's going to be more than 2 years in a minute. What you talking about at the dinner table? Are you talking about real situations? Are you still in la la land? A lot of people are just in la la land until it hits your family and you see the devastation that you lose one, but then your feet the whole family feet is stuck. You can't move. You can't keep reaching towards your destiny because of one loss. Could you imagine 6 in a family? All because of COVID and someone not taking the shot. I get some people are ill and have elements to where they can't take it, but have the conversation. I just hate that my people, we so close-minded. You get cancer, you want to hide in a shell, you don't want nobody to know, then all of a sudden you're gone and everybody's wondering what happened. Some of the things that happen in life you cannot give to yourself. But I feel as though we get in these, you don't want nobody to know, but you proclaiming Jesus all day long. He's a healer and all this, but you hiding in a shell. So I don't know. I got a lot of, different things going on, but get your shot. It may save your life.
I'm with you. I love it. And thank you for Yolanda for your spin on it, and as well as you, Ja'Cory, for giving us your thoughts. Before we go out to Ashton, and Ashton has some great information that she wants to share in just a second. Before we do that, we've got to break in with Emetrius Hunter out in, I believe, the ATL is where he is this week. Let's bring up Emetrius, man, and let's get his take on this, and then right to you, Ashton, with your great information to share. Emetrius, man. What's going on, man? Welcome to the show. I'm sure you know what we're talking about, this whole COVID thing and the vaccination, all this kind of thing. And I know you're almost like right on the front line with this to a degree.
Yeah. And it's funny because I've actually gone, when COVID first happened, I was afforded the opportunity to go open up a COVID testing site clinic in the Bronx of New York, which we then went from testing to testing and vaccination. And it seemed like when it first happened, everybody was going to get the shot. I'm like, wow, everyone's really going to get this shot, because people are literally like, we had lines in the middle of snow, 12-degree weather, rain, all the way like 2 blocks. And if you've been to New York, 1 block is long. So if you got a line that's 2 blocks down the street, that's a long line, and people are sitting there. And I think what has happened is, because of the all over information that people have gotten from COVID, it has kind of put people kind of on a back burner, a fear of getting the shot, as more so a fear of getting infected with the COVID virus. And so what has happened is, people that were once maybe interested or thinking about going for it has definitely began to find those people not wanting the shot, or feeling, well, I've made it this far without getting COVID, so I'll be fine. It's just so many different back ends to it. One thing about it is, I had found out some additional information, is that my body, when Ash had reached out to me, of course, I went and got tested, and my test came back great. But I had also, not only then, I was also informed by my doctor, because he asked me had I had a booster shot. I said, well, yeah, I had just had my booster shot, which was maybe about 3 or 4 days before Kevin Lemon's event. And what he's advised me of, and what a lot of doctors, what he told me are not speaking of, is that a lot of people, when you get your boosters, it makes you asymptomatic, which means I could have been exposed and you could tap it, but I have not a symptom, and I'm walking around feeling great, and could possibly even come back with a negative result. And so that was really, really scary for me. And I began to look at COVID in a whole different way. I began to wear my mask more, and I'm fully vaccinated with a booster, but I'm always masked if I'm out, until I get to an area where I feel safe. And I feel that the people around me are safe. So that one scare from a friend of me even thinking that I possibly could have been the reason, was for me to even become even more of high alert. And again, hear me, I'm vaccinated with a booster. Okay, and it took me to go talk to my doctor, and it took someone around me to be affected, someone that I care about to be affected, and for me to get that guilt of, wow, let me go check myself out. Let me, and for my doctor to release that additional information to me. So it's so much out there that we're getting all these different things, not finding out stuff at last minute. And now I'm like, wow, so booster shots are making some people asymptomatic, which means people with boosters are walking around just smiling, partying, having fun, and without their mask, with the attitude of, I'm vaccinated and I have the booster, but your child at home has COVID. You don't know it because you're not getting any symptoms.
Right.
Wow.
And prime example, and the thing about it is, the young lady here at my job, now keep in mind, we've had 3 outbreaks at my job in my department. And all 3 of the people sit around me, literally like a U shape. One person sat 2 desks in front of me. The other person sat directly behind me. The other person sat on the other side of where we sit, right in the middle, like in the middle of us. So we're like in this round. So I'm like, wow. So this because it literally skipped all around me, never hit me, or did I not feel the symptoms? And so I didn't think about it. So, it's this with this thing, you have to be careful. You have to wear a mask because at the end of the day, CDC, doctors, everyone is still in research. It's all research. You're finding out bits and pieces as you go along.
I'm
And that's it.
I'm glad you said that, Meech, because the CDC just recently released statistics about COVID and the vaccine. So, new data from the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, suggests that 99.999% of people who were fully vaccinated against COVID-19 did not have a severe breakthrough case that led to hospitalization or death. Per the CDC, more than 166 million people have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. This new data suggests that 1,507 people, which is a statistic of 0.0001% of those fully vaccinated people died from COVID-19. I'm gonna say that again.
Please do.
0.0001%. 1,507 people out of 166 million people died from COVID after being vaccinated. Meanwhile, 7,101 people of those fully vaccinated people were hospitalized from COVID-19. So 7,000, that's 0.0003 maybe, or 0.000.2, right? It's so minuscule, right? It is so minuscule. Meanwhile, the death toll is rising with COVID still with people that are not vaccinated. So when we talk about the risks or wondering if it's worth it to get vaccinated or anything, like, out of 166 million people, 1,507 people. Now, yes, that's 1,507 families, right? Who have that's their story, right? And it's terrible. And we don't want anybody to be dying from not from natural causes, right? Because this is, to me, this is not natural causes. This is like this is something other. Because if the person hadn't got COVID, would they still be walking around? Absolutely. That's not natural causes. Okay. So whatever we can do to prevent COVID from attacking our bodies, I say, why not do it? Why not do it? Now, in 20 years, is it possible that there might be side effects from the vaccination? Okay, maybe. But you know what? In 20 years, there might be side effects from the chemotherapy that they put in my body 2 years ago. There might be side effects from, like you were talking about, Detail, the diabetic medication that we've been taking. There might be side effects from eggs. It might be side effects from fried chicken. Child, we don't know nothing about nothing. But what we do know right now is that they have spent the quick time, to put this vaccine together, which it's not out of scratch and out the blue. They've been working on vaccines forever. As long as we've had disease, they have been working on vaccines. So it's really a matter of studying it, creating something awesome. They had a couple failed, and then they came up with this vaccine that seems to be working. Yes, Dee Dee, side effects from peats. Yes. And so when I look at these statistics, I'm like, wow, I'm encouraged. Me personally, I'm encouraged by these statistics. And like I said, they just released this information not too long ago. So I wanted to share that with
Absolutely, and that's great information that you have shared. Bottom line, and we're almost out of time. This conversation can continue as we even keep going. Shout out to Lady AJ, Erica Nears, who is hanging out with us. Shout out also to Kathy Mills, also hanging out with us. Thank y'all for hanging out with us and chiming into the chat. This conversation is a very, very vast conversation. And bottom line, I'm no scientist. None of you are either. I'm no doctor. None of you are either. So we have to, first of all, be prayerful. Before we do anything, we need to be prayerful. And secondly, like Yolanda was saying, need to have more of a heart and be non-condemning. Again, we are not scientists or doctors, so we don't know what's in those different things either. And if someone doesn't feel comfortable, someone doesn't feel comfortable. I don't. Even at my age, I don't want to be forced into doing anything. I like to do, as you all have said, do my research and get a clear understanding of what I'm dealing with. Now, I will agree. I think it was either Yolanda or it may have been Ja'Cory mentioned. Depending on what country you're going to, you may have to get a certain type of shot. I remember vividly preparing to go to China a few years ago, and I had to. If I was going to go, I had to get this particular shot. Otherwise, I could not go on the trip. So I did what I had to do. I think Took, if I remember right, if he's hanging out with us still, he went on that trip with me. He had to take that same shot. I didn't know what was in it, but I didn't get sick, thankfully. But I think at the end of the day, let's be prayerful. Let's be non-condemning.
Yeah.
And let's do some research. Let's continue to do research, and let's have, watch this, healthy conversations about this. And when I say healthy, meaning that just because you're not vaccinated, I'm not going to treat you differently just because you're not vaccinated. Let's have healthy conversations that educate all of us, both the vaccinated and the non-vaccinated, so that we can be able to move forward together. And again, as Ashton was just saying, we don't know what 20 years from now holds. We have found out through studies and research that people who are vaccinated have a lesser chance of succumbing to COVID than those that are not. Doesn't mean that you won't get it, doesn't mean that you won't succumb to it, but you have a lot lesser chance of it from that. And you're right, Lady AJ, we need to respect everyone. Took, I see you. He does remember taking that shot before we went to China. Absolutely great time that we had. And I see you, Kathy, had to take one in order for her to go to Africa. I'm with you. All of us have to make adjustments in order to go where we're trying to go. Listen,
Well, also, Dito, I'm sorry, that cut you off, but
you go
also
crazy.
employers are starting to request. We just lost 32 in staff that refused to be COVID vaccinated. 32. It's now a requirement here at Emory. You're either vaccinated or you're gone.
Yeah,
A
absolutely.
lot of places.
A lot of places getting like that. So let's make wise decisions. Before we go, let's go around the room. Demetrius, I'll start with you. Closing comments, final thoughts before we go.
May God bless you all. It's been a pleasure just hopping in briefly. As always, it's a joy to sit amongst our wonderful panel of hosts and hostess here and to share information. And I just want to encourage everyone, get vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, just always get tested at least once a week. Test yourself. Just know not only for yourself, but for those around you. Spread the love by being tested and being vaccinated.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Yolanda Morant, before we go, closing comments, final thoughts, young lady.
Ja'Cory said something I thought was very powerful. What kind of conversations are you having? So I think we should start having conversations around the dinner table, in the car, dropping your kid off at school. Have the conversations now so you won't have to have a painful conversation later.
Absolutely. I love it. That's good. And that will preach too. Ja'Cory, you're on mute, but before we go, closing comments, man, final thoughts.
I was gonna say the same thing. It's not a scary. Make it to where it's not a scary thing to have that death conversation. Just because you're a faith believer does not mean that you're gonna be here always. Let's always remember that this is not our permanent home, but we got a home somewhere else. I think we get so caught up in our daily routine that we forget that, hey, I'm just passing through. Yes, I got all these dreams in the world, but at the end of the day, uncle, auntie, Ray, all them, I may not be here. I don't know when he's gonna call my ticket or my number.
That's right.
It's all good. Last but not least, Ashton Cole, closing comments, final thoughts.
Yeah, I think that it's important that we also recognize that this is a very stressful time for everybody, and we've been talking about PTSD, right? Like we are all currently under an amount of stress with this COVID thing that we are processing through PTSD, right? And we've got to self-care through this season. You have got to self-care. Find out what that is. It might not be a foot massage or a back rub. It might be going to stand on the beach or put your foot in some water or go get to the mountains or take a vacation or call in sick. Whatever that thing is, you've got to self-care during this time more than any other season that any of us have ever seen in our lives.
Yes.
And do it daily. Like find something that really calms you, works, to really get you to back to center, and definitely keep your prayer life up. My God, pray over yourself, pray over your families, pray over your pastors, your neighborhoods, your children. Like, please, 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 if my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and then will I heal the land. That is a call to action that we can all follow every day.
Absolutely. Good stuff. I love it. Last but not least, listen, I know that the Lord made the heavens and the earth and scooped out the 7 seas and made everything that is all around us within 6 days. And on the 7th day, he rested. I know he did it all. I've seen so many great things that God has done. But at the end of the day, he also made and created doctors. He created and made dentists, of whom we all trust with our health. Let's all stay prayerful. Let's make things happen. And please, man, please, sir, don't be so mean. Go out and do something nice for somebody. I try to do something nice for somebody every day. And hopefully you'll have that same thought process. On behalf of Ashlyn Cole, Ja'Cory Prothro, Yolanda Wild Praise Morant, Demetrius Hunter, my name's D Toe. Till the next time on this same Shop Talk Network, at this same Shop Talk time. Yep. Y'all already know. Ow.
We just want to let you know today
Ow. Holla.
that everything is going to be all right.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.